The hopes and dreams of 30 All Blacks will be realised today. Their names will be read out in the long-awaited World Cup squad in Brisbane this afternoon. There'll be plenty of broken hearts as well as some contentious selections still dividing the rugby public. I'm joined now by All Black great Michael Jones. And Michael, after so many months building up to this, are you surprised that selection isn't more clear-cut?
I assume the three wise men have probably had a short list or pretty much a team penned in probably for a month or so, Sam. But I think they've obviously had to wait for a couple of key players to come back from injury. I think Anthony Borich would be one of those guys. Make sure Pitty's definitely okay. And then I suppose the contentious areas are obviously loose forwards and the outside backs, and they've got to get that right. And in particular, loose forwards, I think personally that's a real critical space where we've got to get that combination right. So I think they've been just keeping an eye on and a bit of a microscope on who can really front up and what's the right mix, the right formula.
Now, it would appear that Liam Messam is going to miss out with Victor Vito getting the call up, but what's your thoughts on that take?
I'm disappointed for Liam. I'd always thought that he could potentially be a really good understudy to Richie. I think he's got all the specifications of a really good open side flanker. Maybe his inability to get game time with the Chiefs has probably worked against him, and then he really needed to step up to another level. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, he was still playing maybe 8 and 6. So I'm disappointed for him personally. I think he's still got a big future in New Zealand rugby. And saying that, I think Victor obviously brings in a bit of an X factor that they're looking for. And I'm still a little bit concerned that there's not that specialist number 7 out there.
Yeah, how concerned should we be over that, Michael, as number 7 of some note yourself? You know how specialised the role is. Going in with just Richie McCaw could leave the All Blacks quite vulnerable. Yeah,
definitely, on Saturday against the Springboks, I think, we sort of got a bit found out in that era when we didn't have Richie there. He's the king of that space there, and he really controls that breakdown and knows that number 7 role better than anyone. So if he's not there, and we come up against that kind of fetcher, that kind of destructive, especially at the breakdown type player, would hate to lose a key game because we couldn't control and actually be superior in that area of that breakdown. So I have a concern that if God forbid that Richie does go down, that we haven't got that key specialist really controlling that area and really making sure that we're the superior team at that breakdown.
Yeah, Adam Thompson was a bit caught out there. Now you mentioned the backs as well. There is a lot of contention who can fit into that role. The likes of Sidiveni Suvadu, Jose Aguirre look to miss out. That means Sonny Bill and whatnot managed to hold spots. It's been a real open position.
Yeah, again, that's the outside backs, and then how that influences the midfield mix. That has been the real era that us as Kiwis have been really watching again, what that's going to look like. I think they've done the right thing. I like the fact that you've got some real good performance through the Super 15 and in that time when they were playing NPC. Zach Guilford, I think obviously I think Corey James is going to be there, and that would suggest that they're going for some real skilled, pacey players, and that probably reflects the kind of game plan. It's going to be fast and furious. I think the All Black approach will be a real pacey, wide, expansive game. That's actually how we won in '87. I think they're going to want to take it to a new level. So they're going to have some really good finishes, and with a huge amount of speed and very accurate. That probably allows for Richard Kahui obviously to be there. Sonny Bill will be there. I know there's been a bit of talk about his form, but I was thinking about how Jonah took a bit of time to get into the groove, but he's definitely got the X factor, and we're definitely going to need a man like him, even coming off the bench in a game where the big games are where these guys really step up.
Now, Sonny Bill, you'd pick though. You think if you were selecting the squad, he'd be in your 30? Yeah,
I still believe that he's got something to offer us going into this World Cup. But again, it's that X factor. I'm not too sure whether it's because he's fasting that his game's a little bit off the pace, but certainly, hopefully they'll be able to get him back to that, SBW that we know can, when he brings his game, can change a game. And that's the kind of player you need at a World Cup.
Who would you have gone for, Colin Slade or Aaron Cruden as Dan Carter's backup?
I've actually always been an Aaron Cruden fan. I think if he had another shot at and what he's doing for Manawatu, I mean, he's almost a one-man wrecking machine, causing a lot of havoc as a really attacking first five, and he's got all the silky skills. I mean, I was concerned that Colin Slade, you can't afford a game like that. You can't afford it pre a World Cup, and you certainly can't afford to play like that in a World Cup. So I'm assuming they might have seen enough of him to give them enough confidence that it won't happen again. But as Kiwis, we just couldn't afford to have another game like that from such an instrumental figure in terms of your first five, the playmaker.
As a World Cup winner yourself, do you see the right mix in the squad that's set to be announced?
Yeah, I certainly believe that, as I mentioned, the rules have changed to I believe, in our favour. I think the way we play, the new rules allow us to be really a hit and run type. We're very good at recycling. We're still the best athletes in the world, I believe. And, with that array of talent across the field, they're all real athletes. And, Victor Vito is a good example. He can run, pass, skillful, and you've got that right through the team. Even props like John O'Fore can play a really hard running, athletic, fast game. So, that's the right mix, I believe, to play to the new rules. And, with the New Zealand team playing in front of our people, I think the mix is right for us to go all the way.
Sounds good to me. Well, back great, Michael Jones. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
That's Sport, Rachel.